Here in this part of the video, I'm taking out the rest of the stringers. So I had already sized them out and everything, so they just need to be out of the way. So I'm using the vacuum to try to get any dust that's really going to blow up towards my face, because although I have a mask on, I only have like glasses, so it still could go under my glasses or still could itch me. Get me itchy.
This is my transom cutout that I did on paper. So I tried it on the transom and it works very well. So I'm going to cut it out of a piece of marine plywood. It's actually nice to be doing something that I don't have to wear a full respirator on. It's just a jigsaw. Last night when I pressure washed it, I got some water everywhere. So I have two fans, two heaters going, and it's in the sun, so it's drying out very fast. Got one section and the other section of the transom needs to be attached with resin. I got my table set up with all the different mats that I'm going to be using, which would be the woven 1708. Really nice one. I got CSM. I got small sections that I rolled up. I got this. Got some gloves, roller, cutter tool, napkins, acetone, cups for measuring, and I got the resin itself. So I'm using polyester resin. I think it will work good for my application. And I got rollers for taking out any air bubbles. Should work pretty well. So I'm gonna do 1.5 because it's a bit cold out, so I think I'm gonna have to put extra curing stuff into it to help it cure. So that would be about 5 milliliters per 2 cups, which I found this cup right in the middle right there is 2 cups. Then I'm gonna put it into here. I'll probably do 4 cups and I'll just spread it all around. I get these buckets for free, so I don't want to pay for a tray to use, so I'm just going to use the buckets. What? Yep. See how this goes. My first ever, my own project, fiberglassing.
I'm taking a little break from showing the videos, and I'm going to tell you what I did wrong in this last clip. So using that big square bucket, it had like areas on the bottom, like divots. So sometimes the resin would get stuck in there and not properly mixed with the hardener. Also, another thing I did was mixing it with the 1.5%. Although it cures better, I did run out of hardener. So maybe it is better to wait for a warmer day when you don't have to use as much hardener. Otherwise, you'll have to go out and buy some. Another thing is that cup that I used. If you leave the resin in the cup, even if it's not with the hardener, it does melt through the cup, not by heat, but chemical reaction. So yeah, pretty cool, but not at the same time.
So what I did was I cut that out, put it on there. Well, actually, first I put a CNC or a chop strand mat on the back, put a lot of resin, then this was put on, the transom was put on, then screws are put in, which is dry now, so I took those out. I started glassing around some of the stringers. Actually, it looks like it came off a bit on that stringer, so I might have to fix that up. But I don't want to keep my mask off for too long because it's very, very potent. But it is coming out okay. But those are all the screws. So little pieces of plywood is backing. If you're doing this, you're gonna have a lot of extra pieces of plywood. So expect that. So I'm actually heating up the resin, which, I mean, I don't know if you're supposed to do, but it's not gonna hurt, because it's not supposed to be less than 75 degrees. So if I'm heating that up with a little heater, that's kind of cool. If I'm heating up with a heater, making sure it's at least 75 degrees, then it cures better. So it's been curing very well after I started doing that, and definitely, yeah, I'm gonna look crazy, but like, make sure you have a mask. Make sure you have a mask on. And then these gloves are very helpful. So it could come through on the mesh side, the resin can, but not through the other side. And if you get it in your hands, after a while it will start to sting. I don't know what it's doing, burning you maybe, chemically, but it's not good for you, so don't let it get on your skin. Yep, always looks like a mess. But I do have the back of the transom pre-cut to put on there, so that will help a bit, like lengthwise, so I don't have to hold the thing up, so I don't have to hold the mat up and cut it at the same time. But this stuff is really nice. It's actually pretty thick. I'd say it's like 7 to 10 pounds of fiberglass just right there. Maybe. No. 5 or 6. Maybe 6 to 7.5, maybe. I don't know. But it's a good amount of weight. It's been like randomly drizzling every, like, let's see, 20-30 minutes. So I keep an eye to put a tarp on it, leave it, and come back, work on it. Oh, but then it's raining again. So I gotta put the tarp back on. Right here. That's how it goes. Florida. But I'm definitely keeping this very warm. But it might even be too warm actually. I'll probably put that a little bit away. So actually the stirring rod that I'm using is like a piece of aluminum. Works very well. Has a flat edge so I can scrape around the side of the bucket. I'm using one of these, a roller, paintbrush, scissors, and then looks like my gloves are a bit dirty. This is the last work I've done. That right there does not look very pretty. But I can always take that off, or I can always just fiberglass around it. This is actually looking pretty good. I think I probably should reinforce the edges on it. That would make it even stronger and better. Don't know yet if I'm gonna do a second sheet or not. I mean, at least I should like do up until like right here. But right here in the middle section, I don't know if I would really need another layer. I mean, it's plenty strong. It's just I don't want it to come away from the back of the transom area. But I have started some of the stringers. It's very slow work, but I mean it's kind of fun. As long as the resin doesn't come and like burn your fingers or anything. Yeah, actually my hands are especially clean because I was just inside. This is the fiberglass that I'm using right here. And then this is like my little measuring cup. So that would be for either the 1.5 or the 1 right there. Because I mean it's decent amount cold, so you want it to react more. It's about 73 degrees. I mean it says not to use lower than 75. However, I'm heating this up, and it's been hot all day, so the boat itself is actually still that temperature.
So either between the heating up the resin or it being out when it got cold at night, something turned it so that some of my resin turned into gel. Unusable resin gel. So I lost about $80 material with that, but learned my lesson. Keep it out of the sun and keep it away from freezing temperatures. So in this picture you can see I put it in all the rest of the stringers. There's one change that I did do from the stringers that are there in this picture. So one of the stringers I had made too high, so the top of the cabin, the bottom of the cabin, whatever you want to say, would not fit in there. I had not tried it in there, however, just by deductive reasoning, it would not fit because how far it went down. So I was using chop strand as much as I can because it's way easier and it sticks way better, which I should have sanded all of this wood down. So some of it, like around the top, where I should have also routed it, did not stick perfectly, but the chop strand does a really good job on sticking to curves or anything.
There's the transom, which is looking really good. One thing I might have messed up on a little bit is that's a little bit higher than that one. So I don't think that'll be a problem. But I'm starting to lay out all the fiberglass that I want to put on there. I mean, it's still sticky in some areas, but once it gets warmer, that seems to solidify really well. But it's looking pretty good. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of resin, especially for the 1708. Like, think of how much resin you think you're gonna need. You might have to get twice as much. I thought I can get it in 5 gallons, but nope. I have 1 gallon left, and then since it's cold out, okay. Yeah, that always sounds weird because it's like these are not attached yet, but yeah. See, I got the hardener for that one, and then I'm out of any other hardener, but I still have half a gallon in that thing. So that is very frustrating. Maybe they should put more hardener in. But it's coming out okay.
One thing I will note is that you want to use the thicker mat, the like 1708, around where the string is attached to the hole itself, especially around the angles, like around the sides of the hole. So those are one of the major stress points. Also, where the triangle part connects to the first long ways stringer, that was definitely a fail point on the boat when I first got it. So definitely work in those areas. Hope this was helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching.